A forgotten artifact lies in pieces on a planet far from Earth. Few know it exists except those who took it back and those whose ancestors created it. 4 young people are thrown into a race against emissaries of the gods to find its pieces. Mistrust, greed, and magic are tangled in an endless web. What will the fate be of the universe once it is found and reassembled? Get Scepter of the Gods, The Rod of Truth now on Amazon, and get wrapped up in the saga that will not let you go.
Good morning and welcome to the Motivational Devotional, where we are merging motivation and spirituality to create a daily dose of confident positivity. I hope that this morning's podcast will help you to be more spiritually and positively motivated so that you can transform your day. Good morning to you, and thank you for joining me today at the Motivational Devotional. I am Mark the Writer, and I am beginning a new series today as we begin a new year together. If you have set some goals for yourself this year, and I'm not using the R word anymore, I hope you have made them bigger than you can currently accomplish. The reason for that is that our goals push us to grow, and if they are something we can easily do, then we aren't as compelled to accomplish them. People can easily just walk away from something they can do just any old day, but if it's bigger than yourself now, then the more progress you make, the less likely you are to abandon it because you tell yourself that you've made it this far. It would be a real shame to waste all that effort. Besides, the growth, the changes, the new and better person you are seeing yourself becoming is encouragement enough to realize that it's working. That's when you start saying to yourself, "Yeah, baby, I got this." In that spirit, today I am beginning this series without having to find all the titles of each podcast in the series and without being entirely certain how this is going to go. I know the end, I know the why, and I know how to start, and so I'm starting. I'm doing it as a real-time way of showing how this kind of thing gets done. So if you know someone, anyone, who could use some encouragement in setting goals and taking life by the tail, then this is it. Share this podcast or share the blog version from motivational-devotional.com if they would prefer to read it. Today starts my first audacious goal of 2024, and I am calling it 50 Ways to Love Your Soul. Now, before anyone may wonder what loving your soul has to do with motivation or goal setting, let me say this. Everything. How likely are you to do something huge for a person you don't like? Now, that's a pretty profound thought, isn't it? Are you 100% in love with who you are right now? That would include the way your body looks, how you interact with other people, viewing yourself as a gift to the world, appreciating your own talents and sense of humor and intellect and personality. Please note that I did not ask if you are 100% happy or content with yourself as you are right now. What would be the point of setting goals if you are already all that you intend to be? You can be in love with who you are right now and still say that you want to grow and become more. Even if you aren't a parent, consider what it's like to have children. Parents love their children unconditionally and almost always fiercely. They will fight hordes of dragons for their children, and they love them unconditionally as they are. At least, most of them do. That's the way it should be. But healthy parenting is also about encouraging those kids to grow, beginning with the skill of walking and continuing to highly advanced skills. Parents love their children 100% as they are, but they also push them to be more than they are to become all they can be. That's the love I'm talking about that we need to have for ourselves. And when we do that, we start changing the self-criticism into self-affirmation. You look in the mirror, and instead of seeing anything that looks funny or ugly or old or wrinkly or malformed or scarred or pimply or scaly or miscolored, you tell yourself an entirely different message. Acknowledge that you see that. But then tell yourself that that is superficial and that what you see is one good-looking manifestation of divine presence in this world. Tell yourself that what you see in the mirror is a blessing to the world, a blessing to the significant people in your life, and most of all, a blessing to your own journey. Tell yourself that you are 100% deeply in love with what you see in the mirror. If your hair is falling out, so what? If there's a problem with how your teeth look, so what? Too short, too tall, too skinny, too heavy. Who set those judgments anyway? I can almost guarantee you that you can find at least one person who would hear you say that out loud and tell you that you're mistaken because they don't see you that way at all. I know that personally because I had some of those internal messages of criticism without even realizing that I did, and I had them by assuming that I saw myself the same way everyone else did. Know what? I discovered that I was wrong, and I was big time wrong. Somebody told me some positive things about myself, and I didn't believe them at first. They told me they couldn't understand why I would think otherwise, and then I started paying attention to what other people really were saying and listening to it in the context of what I was told about myself, and I started to understand and believe that I was more than I was allowing myself to see. So maybe you are so heavy that your doctor has some serious health concerns, but is it permanent? Only a very small percentage of people could say so. Please understand that this podcast is not a weight loss program or a fitness program actually it is a spiritual fitness program. I can go that far. But here is what I've learned, and it comes from the Zen learning I've acquired in my life. Stop identifying with how you look now. That's hard. It can be very difficult. For a lot of people, it's almost impossible to look in the mirror and not say that's who you are and identify with what your eyes see. But let me say this. Stop it. Stop trusting your eyes because they don't see your soul. Stop identifying with your current condition. That isn't you. You are the gracious, beautiful soul that represents the creative power of God in this lifetime. Don't let the mirror define you. Define yourself from the inside out. Your lifelong dream defines you. Your goals that you achieve to manifest that lifelong dream define you. You can say, I currently have the appearance of a heavy person or a skinny person if you're wanting to add some muscle or whatever. Customize it to fit you. Acknowledge that you currently have that appearance, but say that you are a child of light who currently appears that way and that you are defined by light and your appearance is changing to accurately represent the light within. Tell yourself that that may be how you look, but it's not you. This is where it is important for us to attune ourselves to the universe regularly, and I mean multiple times a day. No, I don't mean sitting in a lotus position for half an hour, 2 or 3 or 4 times a day. I mean just regularly being conscious of the light within and connecting with the universe to let it flow through you and manifest in your smile, your words, and your actions. That takes less than a minute, and a person can learn to do that all day long. So this is the direction we're going with this 50 Ways to Love Yourself thing. My audacious goal with this? Well, this podcast you are hearing, or blog if you're reading it right now, is, at this moment, the only thing I've written about this. Valentine's Day is 42 days from now, and the best Valentine you can give yourself is to stay with this every day through February 22nd. That is 50 days from today. All of these episodes are free, and I'm not asking you to put out anything other than your attention. My audacious goal includes putting all 50 of these into an ebook, as well as a paperback version that can, if people choose, be purchased on Amazon, but nobody has to do that to participate. The written version is on motivational-devotional.com, and the podcast can be heard on at least 10 different audio platforms. So what I am saying is that I have learned to love myself enough to know that I am capable of starting from scratch today, last night, January 2nd, to write, record, engineer, and upload 50 podcasts, post 50 blogs, compile them into a published book of probably around 150 to 200 pages, design a cover, and have it available by the middle of February. Oh, while I am doing that, I am also writing the rough draft of the second book in my Scepter of the Gods series, and I will finish that draft by March, so I'm not just doing this series. The reason I'm sharing this is that a year ago, I didn't even know how to do a podcast, where to upload one, how to distribute it, or anything. The big, huge, glaring point is this: you can do it. You can 100% fall in love with yourself, not as an ego thing like a narcissist, but as the beautiful child of light that you are. And you can grow in at least one or two ways that you never believed you could. If I've done that, you can certainly do that, because I'm one of the most hard-headed and stubborn people my friends know. Love you. Love all of you, and know that all of creation loves all of you and is conspiring in your favor. Trust that the universe always has your back, because God created the light that is the real you only for the purpose of growing into who you should be. The Greek scholar Aristotle wrote, "He is his own best friend and therefore ought to love himself best." Thank you for taking the time to listen today. Please help keep this podcast going by following the Motivational Devotional Facebook page, following @Threefold Way Radio on Twitter, and sharing the written format of today's message from motivational-devotional.com on your social media. I am deeply grateful for your support, and thank you for letting Motivational Devotional be part of your journey. Peace out. See you tomorrow.
Motivational Devotional is a production of Threefold Way Radio, LLC.